Kathy Vick, Deeply Awake Chats 2017. Well, I want to come to you and talk to you about the Ascension. That's pretty much what this is about. This is a very, very big time. It always is. Julys and Augusts are just, they pound me energetically. Ugh. And this one is even more juicy than most. I mean, wow, I had a really beautiful night a couple nights ago, and when I was in the hot tub, I was just having a moment and sitting there, and because of what I did and where I went and everything like that, there was this like filaments of plasma in the water. It was so cool. And it's been magic like that. The whole time it's been magic like that. I mean, it's just so easy to slip into places that are otherworldly, and where I can move things and affect things. And by what I mean by that is I can affect my own chemistry. And I went through a very, very trying time of challenge with my loved one, and very early on into it, it became abundantly clear to me that sure, what's said, sure, it's important. What's done, that's important. People remember that, and it contributes to your signature, so it's important to have integrity. But this last week, wow, it's become so super clear to me what is going on here. In the morning, a few mornings ago, I was thinking about my work and how much time that I believe I've spent on talking about the dark and the bullying mentality, and breaking through the engrams of victim and victimizer, bully and bullied, and my contention that this actually is not something that happens simply on the playground. It happens in the international political theater. It happens with your bank. It happens with your spouse. It happens with your boss. And you're not just the receiver of it, dear. Neither am I. And so I'm sitting on the bed and I'm thinking, well, this seems like a waste of my time. Be sitting here bitching about people being assholes, basically. And then I saw, no. This is an energy, and this is a problem. This is a conflict that has been part of my life always. Always. And having people in my reality who are unpredictable, interpersonally violent, who break things and who break hearts. That has been what I've been up to here. I was a psych nurse. People who are in the middle of breaks are incredibly mean. Whoa. They go right for your jugular. And so this hasn't just been trying to figure out what the hell, how do I cope with what the fuck is in my living room, with what the fuck I've got to sleep next to. Oh my God. with who cuts my checks, dealing with their aggression, their unpredictability, their irrationality, their suspicion, their paranoia. And then I knew, well, so much of this has been really, really, really accepting that there's no way I can play in that field without also having those characteristics, or at least knowing the language. And it has been my privilege and honor and work to move through this and realize that I am around them, but I am not like them. And I certainly know how to cut with just a few words. Yep. So completely that someone bleeds out. Yep. That's a specialty. And so I'm very careful with what I say, because I know I can go right to heart of something and just really knock somebody over. And that's not nice to do. That's considered mean. So I don't do that. It's considered being bully, because it's not considering someone's free will. So I sat on that bed and I realized, well, I'm not really just... I haven't just been working on something that's been plaguing me in my personal life. This is something that is an energy. It's this aggression, this resistance, this spitting at love, turning away, punishing, just for the sake of punishing, sadism, and there is an energy there, and it is addictive. There's a neurologic glitch that happens with some people with their rage. Anger does this to people. It messes with the brain chemistry, and it's just not good. It's so obvious, and it's not just one person. I mean, this is a pattern I see with people who are rage monsters. They have a pattern, and then the people around them fall into patterns to manage the rage monster. Oh my God. And I realize that there are some people who don't have this as their theme. And I felt really weird about having this as a theme, because I'm really not a very rageful person, although as Sam Kinison says, I know what turns Mr. Hand into Mr. Fist. And, the thing is that what I've realized is that this is not really anything but how one is built and one's choices. Do you let the lower angels win or the higher angels? What do you let escape your mouth? And I've really, really been aware lately that it's past time to just let myself off the hook for what comes out of my mouth, and to just laugh out loud. If people are if for the rest of my life I walk around and people are upset with me, that's fine. Well, that hasn't changed any then. Okay, because I'm never trying to do that. Let people just walk around being offended. Okay, well, there you go then. I'm not going to change that, so why bother? I mean, I've tried my very best, and I don't go out of my way to be mean. And I know I'm built in to not do that. I would rather lose money than lie. I would rather do a lot of things than lie. And if we're going to follow rules, we're going to follow rules. And if I break rules, there's a reason. And I'm okay with breaking rules, because if I find the rules silly, then I'm not going to adhere to them. So the way I'm seeing it now is that this really was not only a very valid thing to do, but very fruitful. to really understand that this is a beautiful choice that I've made. And it's not just some fate that was handed to me, but I have the choice in the moment in very, very challenging situations, I can assure you. Difficulty level exceedingly high. And I opt for love. It's my fallback. To be kind, to be thoughtful, to be generous. It's my fallback. And I'm proud of that. And it's taken me a lifetime of figuring out why people wouldn't do that. What is that? What's that? And so that's a body of work there. And breaking through the various things that happen when required to cope with situations that are shouldn't be coped with alone. So it's been a good thing, 1111, to get here and to have peace and to have skill. So a couple days ago I was at a restaurant and I was surrounded by people. It was a busy day. I was in the middle of doing a task that was complicated and repetitious but complicated and requires mindfulness. And I was fully present and fully engaged with what needed to be engaged with. Nobody noticed a glitch. But I was aware of a sensation in my chest that was behind and above my heart. And it felt like mahogany. It felt just really rich and deep, and it had a sound. And it moved through my body. And I saw the eclipse. I understood some of what is being done with this eclipse and how is part of it's a set that was in February and now this one. And I was given information that's specific to me based on the other astrological things that were going on and the meaning that it has for me. This is a highly keyed event. I understood why it is that we're being called to go out of state into the path of totality. And I understand that that's what we need to do and why. And my body twice went into the shudders of just such relief. I understood that this is not for everyone, but it's for me. And it's for many who are like me. And so I'll be meeting friends there. And that's the plan. That's the plan. So the thing is that I think that the eclipse is a really important thing to discuss just a little bit. We'll use our lives as an example. The last couple of weeks have been really intense because they've been closing of a life, basically, much the same as mine has been closing. My son's also has been closing in that. I told him, I don't know, maybe we could go. Puzzled. We were just having a chat. And I said, it seems to me, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems to me that there's this big, huge hand holding a big, huge eraser. And it has been ever since the end of February. And it's just been erasing everything. And then, every time we try to put something new down, it gets erased. It's like, I guess it'd be easy to say we're not making any progress, But that's not how I see it. I see us continually trying to make progress and setting out, and then and I couldn't figure, and I didn't initially connect that with the eclipses. There was a really big event that happened at the end of February where there was a separation, and ever since then it's just been like a completely different reality. But then I realized, okay, well, wait a minute, those those eclipses were just around then. And what was I going on and on about then? Nothing artificial will remain, which is something I was taught would happen during these times. And it's so true, and I think that's the tertiary timelines. I think that's the stuff that's just not really real or helpful or relevant. You know, is this really relevant to what's going to happen in where I'm going to be in 2 years? You know, if it is, great. But that's oh my God, the big lesson has been like living in Technicolor. This thing that happened to me when I was working in an environment where there was domestic violence, and I was taking a break from Crazy Town. I was in the bathroom, and I had just witnessed something that was just it just had really fucked with my energy. I was just like fractured and spinning really bad, and I felt really crazy and bad and fucked up and just broken, soiled. Ugh. That stuff just does, I just feel so bad in that energy. And I kind of like hobbled to the bathroom window, and I looked up and out, and I could see trees. I could see sky. And I began to breathe deeply, and I got to really see those trees, the leaves, and I appreciated the breeze and could feel the wind, and just I did the birdies, and okay, and then it dawned on me, like, I don't know, like the clouds parted and angels sang. I realized all that arguing, all that snarling, thank you, I hate you, blah 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 blah. None of that's real. The only thing that's real is love. The only thing that's real is that they're all in this together, and they're choosing to beat each other up and poison each other and hurt each other. That's it. It's not real. It hit me like a ton of bricks. In a really profound way, that it's really nothing to be troubled by. It's really laughable. It's pathetically sad. It's such a misunderstanding. It's such a misuse of the day. Because this whole thing, from international politics to the screaming matches that happen in bedrooms, it's about abuse of power. What is that? That is fucking with someone else's free will. It's not letting them think, feel, do for themselves. Or it's completely abandoning them, severing yourself from them emotionally, intellectually, but saying with your words that you're connected. And they know they're not, but you say you are. It's curious. These faulty connections are beginning to falter. Oh no! Things that weren't sustainable aren't sustained. Oh no! So I don't know. It's a weird time to be alive, that's all I can say. So I want to end on a kind of a personal note, because here's the thing. Yeah, it's about ascension and descension, okay? It's about merge. And it's been a little bit hard to reconcile, okay? I'm having all these, full-on freaky-deaky hallucinations all the time. Oh my God. Well, not all the time, but a lot of the time. And I'm perfectly happy, and I'm usually pretty cool. I mean, there's sometimes I get a little lost. I mean, okay, we were at this one place, and we were just there, and I was just having an experience. It was fun. And I was in the moment, and I thought, what? How did we get here? Who drove? How did that go down? Because I didn't know what would happen next. So I was trying to figure out what was going to happen next rather than just trusting. So then I realized, holy shit, not like in a, oh, my hair's on fire way, but just in a, well, look at that. Because for a minute, it didn't make any sense that I had driven, but it crossed my mind I might have. And because it felt social, and yet I was at work. So I was just had this moment of, what's going on here? And I really do think there's some funny things going on with timelines. So to end 2121. So to end, I'd tell you it's so cute because the politics are kind of distressing. I think that's a pretty accurate word. Okay, but here's the thing. Ooh, it was so exciting. All right, so mainly every single day it feels like my soul is being put through a garlic press with one thing or another, and it's not like I sign up for it. It's just like, oh, here's this really weird thing you're gonna have to deal with. Oh my God, and then I'm done. And it's like, and I keep reminding myself, this is like final exam. It really, truly, honest to God, this is it. This is graduation, man. What's coming up for review is, if it's up and it's charged, it's mine. Do I want to keep feeling this? Because it's charged. This is a neutral reality. I was walking through a King Soopers after having a psychedelic day, and I realized in just a flash, it was so clear to me that everything that I encounter, really, it's to my best interest to see it as neutral. It really isn't, because it's charged for other people. It's charged. But to just what it is what I make it, is what I'm getting at. And I'm getting so tired of any of the negativity and any of the, but it used to be, or I've been hurt, or any of that, victim shit. It's just like, ooh, I don't want any of that. So I'm seeing all these patterns that are so gross and nasty, and I don't like them. And the problem with that is that, if you're in the middle of change, it's not a problem. It's kind of cute. If you're in the middle of change and you see, oh wow, I used to behave in kind of a dingbat way. I mean, what's happening right now is really, really, really that big. Where there's a yesterday where things were like that, and there's a today where, why would I even consider acting that way? It's not like, I'm going to practice, I'm going to try to be a better person. No, I'm different. And there are certain things I would never even think to do or think. And this big leap can, before I would feel really embarrassed and sort of ashamed that I was in misunderstanding, because I knew I was in misunderstanding while I was misunderstanding. And when you're not in misunderstanding, it's weird. There's no shame. You just didn't know it. And it's really nice to feel that. It's nice to have some neutrality and to not feel so automatically toward things. And I mention it because I know it may seem funny, but to not have a knee-jerk emotional reaction to anything, and to notice when I do have an emotional reaction, that's being charged. So really, okay, to really end, there's this video I listened to, and it was so surprising to me. It was the same principles that I'd grown up with, about, you know, when you're going through these changes, when you're going through your reality, the things that are emotionally charged, the stuff that comes up for you and holds a charge, well, that's yours. And it doesn't matter if it's in someone else, it's inside of you, obviously, because it has a charge. And I've been really working with that, and that really has helped with the whole feeling of neutrality and the option, the appropriateness. And I think that this free will thing, and a power and abuse and use of power, and sharing of power, isn't that the whole idea? I mean, I really want to live in a world where I am seen as powerful, where I don't have to prove it, and I don't have to have anybody squash it. It just is. And you're seen as powerful. I see you as powerful. And you know that. You don't have to prove it. You don't have to, tell me all about it. You can tell, it comes off of me that I know you're powerful. Further, I'm asking for your help and offering mine, because together we're more powerful than apart. And together all of us can help create something brand new. So lately I've been thinking that really we need to gather, more of us urban shaman need to gather, because that's really what I'm considering myself more and more, because I am a shaman, but I don't pluck things out of a forest. That doesn't make me any less shamanistic. It doesn't make me any less powerful or magical. But I use different tools, different elements, like traffic patterns. And there's a lot I can do to a group of people. There's a lot many people can do with and for and to a group of people. Of course, only with their permission. So it's very fascinating times and really, really powerful times. The inner and the outer, the higher and the lower, the denser and the lighter are really, really merging, marrying, and they're being expressed in the physical. And so, it's as much a descension as an ascension. I've been cautioned or been told that using the word embodiment isn't entirely accurate, because that's kind of the word that is for just being human. You're embodied. You're a soul that expresses as tissue in body. So this is just a change in amperage. There's a lot going on for people internally, and then as a result in their relationships, and then as a result in their greater political and financial reality. And we all play a part in all of it. We are all in this together. We are more powerful together than apart. And this is the time for realizing the separations are not serving anybody. And the time to start to harm each other for any reason is over. Selfishness, it's just over. It's sad, it's dumb, it needs to stop. And until it's seen as that, it'll just be something that we do. That's the thing. Once it's done, it's done. And until then, it's not done. So, I and a few others will just wait here and wait till you catch up. But we're headed toward things that are astounding. And this is just a really powerful eclipse. It sort of takes my breath away thinking about it. What's available and what is to come. So, fear not and be of good cheer. The best really is here and is to come. Okay. Namaste.